How does Plato view the relationship between the individual and the state? Plato, one of the most influential philosophers of Western thought, dedicated much of his work to the study of political philosophy. In his influential dialogues, Plato explored the relationship between the individual and the state, examining how the two could coexist in harmony and balance. Plato's ideas on individual rights versus the greater good, the role of education in citizenship, and the ideal state have had an enduring impact on political theory. This article will delve into Plato's political philosophy, focusing on his views on the relationship between the individual and the state and its implications for contemporary political discourse. Introduction to Plato's political philosophy. Plato was a Greek philosopher who lived from 427 to 347 BCE. He is one of the most influential figures in the history of Western philosophy, and his ideas have had a lasting impact on political thought. Plato's political philosophy centers around the idea that the state should be an embodiment of the highest virtues, such as wisdom, courage, and justice. In this article, we will explore how Plato viewed the relationship between the individual and the state, as well as his concept of justice in political thought. Overview of Plato's life and works. Plato was born in Athens to a wealthy family and studied under the philosopher Socrates. He went on to found the Academy in Athens, which was one of the first institutions of higher learning in the Western world. Plato is best known for his philosophical works, including the Republic, which outlines his political philosophy, as well as the Symposium, the Apology, and the Phaedo. Plato's influence on political philosophy. Plato's political philosophy has had a profound impact on Western political thought. His ideas about the ideal state, the role of the individual in society, and the nature of justice have been debated and analyzed for centuries. Many subsequent philosophers, such as Aristotle and Machiavelli, were deeply influenced by Plato's writings. The concept of justice in Plato's political thought. Defining justice in Plato's philosophy. For Plato, justice is not simply a matter of fairness or equality. Instead, he believed that justice is a fundamental virtue that encompasses all other virtues. In the Republic, Plato argues that justice is the proper balance and harmony between different parts of the soul and different classes of society. The role of justice in the state. In Plato's ideal state, justice is embodied in the rulers, who are the most wise and virtuous members of society. The state is organized according to a hierarchy of three classes: rulers, auxiliaries, and producers. Each class has its own role to play in the maintenance of a just society. Individual justice and the greater good. Plato believed that individual justice is necessary for the greater good of society. In other words, each individual must fulfill their proper role in society in order for the state to function properly. Individuals who act selfishly or pursue their own interests at the expense of others are not acting justly, and this can lead to social unrest and injustice. The individual's role in the state according to Plato. The individual's duty to the state. According to Plato, individuals have a duty to the state to fulfill their proper roles and contribute to the greater good. This duty is based on the idea that the state is necessary for the flourishing of individual human beings. Education and the formation of individuals for the state. Plato believed that education was essential for the formation of individuals who could fulfill their roles in society. He advocated for a rigorous educational system that emphasized philosophy, mathematics, and physical training. The virtues of the ideal citizen in Plato's state. In Plato's ideal state, the virtues of wisdom, courage, and self-discipline are essential for individuals who wish to become ideal citizens. These virtues enable individuals to fulfill their roles in society and contribute to the greater good of the state. Plato's ideal state and its implications for the individual. Overview of Plato's ideal state. Plato's ideal state is one in which justice is embodied in the rulers and the classes of society are in harmony with one another. The state is organized according to a hierarchy of rulers, auxiliaries, and producers, and each class has its own role to play in maintaining social stability and justice. The individual's place in Plato's ideal state. In Plato's ideal state, individuals are expected to fulfill their proper roles and contribute to the greater good of society. This includes serving in the military, participating in politics, and engaging in philosophical inquiry. The benefits of living in Plato's ideal state. According to Plato, living in his ideal state would bring about the greatest possible happiness and fulfillment for individuals. This is because the state would be organized in a way that allows each person to fulfill their potential and contribute to the greater good of society. In this sense, the individual and the state are mutually dependent on one another for their flourishing. The relationship between the ruler and the ruled in Plato's philosophy. Plato's political philosophy is centered around the relationship between the individual and the state. He believed that the ideal state was one where rulers and citizens worked together for the common good. In Plato's view, the state was an organic entity, with the ruler as its head and the citizens as its body. Plato's concept of the philosopher king. Plato reasoned that the ideal ruler should be a philosopher king, someone who had received a rigorous education in philosophy and was therefore equipped with the knowledge and wisdom to govern justly. He believed that only a philosopher king could rule without being corrupted by power or personal gain. Power and responsibility in Plato's political philosophy. In Plato's view, rulers had a great deal of power, but this power came with a great deal of responsibility. Rulers were expected to act in the best interest of their citizens and to strive for the common good. They were not allowed to use their power for personal gain or to oppress their citizens. The ruler's duty to the people. Plato believed that the ruler had a duty to care for the health, education, and well-being of the citizens. The state was responsible for ensuring that all citizens had access to basic necessities such as food, shelter, and healthcare. This was necessary to create a harmonious society where everyone had an equal opportunity to lead a fulfilling life. Critiques of Plato's views on the individual-state relationship. Plato's political philosophy has faced numerous critiques over the years. While he envisioned an ideal state, many argue that it is not feasible in reality. Arguments against Plato's ideal state. Critics argue that Plato's ideal state is not achievable because it requires a ruler with perfect knowledge and wisdom. They argue that such a ruler does not exist and that it is unrealistic to expect one person to have complete knowledge of all things. Challenges to Plato's view on individual rights and freedoms. Plato's political philosophy has also been criticized for ignoring individual rights and freedoms. Critics argue that his focus on the common good neglects the fact that individuals have unique needs and desires that should be respected. Plato's relevance and limitations in modern political discourse. Despite these criticisms, Plato's political philosophy remains relevant in modern political discourse. His ideas on the relationship between the individual and the state continue to inform democratic governance and political theory. Relevance of Plato's political philosophy in modern times. Plato's political philosophy has had a lasting impact on political thought and continues to influence modern politics. Plato's influence on contemporary political thought. Plato's ideas on democracy, justice, and the state continue to inspire political thinkers today. His concept of the philosopher king has been influential in discussions on the role of expertise in governance, while his focus on the common good continues to shape debates on public policy. The ongoing debate on the role of the individual in the state. Plato's vision of the ideal state has also sparked a continuing debate about the balance between individual rights and the common good. This debate remains relevant in contemporary politics, as states continue to grapple with issues such as income inequality, social welfare policies, and civil rights. Application of Plato's ideas in current political issues. Plato's political philosophy has been applied to contemporary political issues in various ways. For example, his ideas on the importance of education have informed debates on access to education and equitable distribution of resources. His belief in the obligation of rulers to care for the well-being of citizens has also influenced discussions on healthcare policy. Conclusion: Plato's enduring legacy in political thought. Plato's political philosophy has had a profound impact on political thought and continues to influence contemporary politics. While his ideal state may not be achievable in reality, his ideas on the relationship between the individual and the state remain relevant in discussions of democratic governance, justice, and the public good. Summary of Plato's views on individual-state relationship. In Plato's view, the relationship between the individual and the state was one of mutual responsibility. The state was responsible for ensuring the well-being of its citizens, while citizens were responsible for contributing to the common good. Reflection on Plato's significance in political philosophy. Plato's political philosophy has been influential in shaping the concepts of democracy, justice, and the role of government in modern political thought. His ideas on the philosopher king and the common good continue to inform debates on expertise in governance and public policy. Implications of Plato's political philosophy for future discourse. The ongoing relevance of Plato's political philosophy suggests that his ideas will continue to inform modern political discourse. As states continue to grapple with issues such as social welfare policies, income inequality, and civil rights, his insights may provide guidance on how to balance individual rights with the public good. Plato's political philosophy, although developed over 2 millennia ago, continues to inspire and challenge contemporary political thought. Through his exploration of the relationship between the individual and the state, Plato offers valuable insights into how individuals can work together to form a just and harmonious society. As we continue to navigate complex political issues, Plato's ideas on the importance of civic responsibility in education remain as relevant as ever.